What's going on, NBA fans? Y'all got me today, Bobby, with Big Kev, Big Bro from Chopping It Up Chicago, holding it down. On today's episode, we gonna talk about it. With Kevin Durant going down with his energy, is the Sun title chances are they over now? Are they over? Y'all already know. We're gonna jump into this intro, then we're gonna talk about it and a little bit more.
Thank you for tuning in to the number one place for your basketball fix, NBA Central, hosted by the Cognac Boys.
All right, now thanks for tuning in. If y'all like what y'all listening to today, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Big Bro, how you feeling, man?
Feeling great, man.
Bro. But hey, let's jump right into it, man. Now we know that Kevin Durant went down with an ankle sprain during warm-ups. Like he looked like he was going to go ahead and get busy on OKC Thunder. But nah, that was stopped short by him driving to the basket and twisting that ankle down for reportedly 2 to 3 weeks before he's reevaluated. So that does not mean he's coming back to play, ladies and gentlemen. That means he will be reevaluated and then they will make a decision on when he will return. So just speak on the injury. How does that affect the Suns so far? And then we'll dive a little bit deeper after that.
I mean, anytime you lose a player of Kevin Durant's caliber, it definitely affects the team. Like, there's no way around that. Like, the benefit that the Suns have is that they've already played pretty much the entire season without Kevin Durant. So I don't feel like they're going to fall off completely in terms of the regular season. The Western Conference is still super wide open outside of the top three. And with things that are happening in Denver and in Memphis, the top three got some work to do as well. But Phoenix is sitting at number 4. They could easily fall all the way out of the playoff positioning situation and into the play-in, or even out of the play-in with how things are close. So I feel like, though, the leadership on the team with Chris Paul, a healthy Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton out there as well, I feel like they're going to be all right in terms of their playoff positioning. Now, winning the playoffs, though, of course, without Kevin Durant, that changes everything.
It does change everything, and I think that you hit the the nail in the coffin just by simply saying, bro, they could definitely start falling because that schedule is a bit difficult. And I'm telling you right now, if they maintain that standing, Golden State maintains their standing, and they go on a 4-5 matchup in round 1 without that much cohesiveness or continuity, which the word we hate over here in Chicago right now. But that's good. That's a tough matchup for these guys to come in against the world champs who got a ton of experience, an exceptional head coach. And we understand Kevin Durant is a great plug and play player, but you still need to know what's going to happen at the end of those games between Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And that only comes with experience.
Mm-hmm. And you said it right. I mean, like, it also depends, right? Because Golden State's road problems are gonna stay the same in the playoffs, in my opinion. So if Phoenix can stay in the 4 spot as opposed to falling down to 5 and swapping places with Golden State, if they have home court advantage, I feel like they can beat Golden State in the first round. However, if Golden State has home court advantage, they're going to win that series, and Phoenix doesn't want that type of problem.
Facts, because Golden State, as of right now, is only they dropped. So the Golden State Warriors are in 6, excuse us, but they were just 5th a few days ago. But right now, the Clippers are 5th, which is definitely still a tough matchup for those Phoenix Suns. But I want to move on and talk about it. Like, talk about it a little bit more. I feel like these guys, we talked about Kevin Durant coming back, being reevaluated right before the playoffs. Like, what do you think they will be missing out on if Kevin Durant, what do you think they will be missing out on since Kevin Durant is not able to play those key games right now?
I mean, man, like, so Devin Booker was going to benefit the most from the Kevin Durant being on the court situation. Now teams can double team him. They can play drop defense and have help ready for him if he try to drive to the basket.
Right.
It was going to be a lot more difficult for other teams to defensively game plan for Phoenix because they were going to have to pick their poison. And right now, Chris Paul is not what he used to be offensively, and DeAndre Ayton is kind of limited offensively, whereas Booker is clearly their number one scoring option as
Right.
opposed to when KD was out there. So that's what they're going to miss out on is just having that 1-2 punch of Kevin Durant being right here and Booker being right here, and whichever one of those guys is open for mid-range out, who's going to take the shots. They're not going to be able to get those opportunities now.
Facts. And then if we're looking at the schedule too, they got Golden State, Milwaukee. Those are tough matchups right now for teams that are fine. Milwaukee, number one seed in the East. Golden State, they fighting, and then you already know what they bring, and they just beat the Bucks a few nights ago. Then you got Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
OKC, Los Angeles, Sacramento, the Sixers, Utah, Minnesota. Some winnable games there, but it's gonna be difficult for these guys for sure.
Well, all of those teams are with even Orlando to a certain extent. They're all fighting for playoff positioning. Like, and none of those teams are going to lay down or roll over for Phoenix, whether they got KD or not. All of these guys want to win the championship right now. So Phoenix is definitely going to have to at least go 500 for the rest of the season in order to be okay. Because if they find themselves on the you going under 500, let's say they go 4-6 in their next 10, that
That's
can
tough.
spell doom and gloom for them. Like that could be really pretty much season. So they're gonna have to go out there and perform regardless of who's on that court in order to maintain their current standing.
Bet it up. I'm with that. So in short, bro, let's put it on wax. You know how we do it over here on NBA Central and any other platform we be on? Put it on wax. Are the Suns title hopes over for this season?
I can't say the title hopes are over, considering how wide open the Western Conference is right now.
Okay.
Now their main concern is who can they beat in the Eastern Conference? Uh, if they face Boston, can they beat Boston? If they face Milwaukee, can they beat Milwaukee? Or even Philly. So that's the real concern for me. But in the Western Conference, it's just wide open. It's too wide open for me to completely say that their title hopes are over.
I'm with you on that because you don't never really know what can happen, but I still gotta keep it a buck with you. Is Devin Booker's hamstring gonna hold? Um, and we already know in the last few years and basically throughout his entire career, you already know where I'm going with this. Chris Paul, he always ends up with a broken finger, a broken hand, some type of hamstring issue. And I'm not wishing none of that on any of these players, but if we're going off past experience, that's kind of what has happened to Chris Paul. And you still got to worry about D Book hamstring. And as of right now, for the last two seasons, we kind of got to worry about Kevin Durant as well. What you say to that?
That's true. I mean, especially now more than ever, right? Like KD's getting older. He's been experiencing injuries pretty much every season since he left Golden State and his last season in Golden State. And then
Right.
you got him coming off of an injury to go into the playoffs after coming off of an injury to go play for Phoenix. It's like, man, he's not going to be 100%. That's already a given. He's not going to be 100% in the playoffs. And that's a grind. It's only, you got to win 16 games but you can play 30. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of them situations where I don't know, Kevin Durant's durability, Chris Paul's durability, and Devin Booker's durability are all really valid concerns to have for Phoenix going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and then I also believe it's some of the matchups too. Like I believe they can beat anybody, but I believe they can be beat in as well by anybody. But we probably can say that about just about any team in the West because if we're looking at the number one seed, the Denver Nuggets, they kind of on a little down, like a little. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like a big thing, but they definitely been struggling quite a bit these last four games that they didn't played in.
Well, we talked about this yesterday. Me and Steve O and C Dub, we were talking about this, and I don't think that they're in any real jeopardy in terms of the regular season because they have a 5-game lead right now over the number 2 and number 3 seeds out west,
Right.
and they're gonna have to completely fall off in order to not end up with the number 1 seed in the West. But yeah, they can definitely be beaten. And we also discussed like they don't have the right to play like they're bored. Uh,
Yeah.
at this
Facts.
point at this point in all their careers, from the coaching staff on down, from Mike Malone on down, y'all haven't won anything. So y'all need to finish strong. There is no coasting into into the playoffs like Golden State or maybe San Antonio of old, teams that have already won. Of LeBron, if you've already won, if you won back-to-back championships and so on and so forth, you have kind of a right to kind of take it easy toward the end of the season. Denver doesn't. They got to show the world that they're ready to put their foot on the gas and go all the way to the finals. And this last week or so, they haven't really shown that.
Okay, I got a question there. So would you kind of say the same thing for the Phoenix Suns? But it's not because they haven't won anything. They at least made it to the finals. But Chris Paul, he getting older. Kevin Durant, his durability is now being questioned more than ever. Like, do you think that, like, you know what I'm saying? Can they coast a little bit or be like, maybe not this year, for sure next year type of mentality? What you think with their mentality that they gotta have?
Well, they definitely can't coast. Like they're in that logjam of all those teams that's within 2 or 3 games of each other. Like Phoenix can go from fourth to the play in or fourth to out of the playoffs, depending on how they play these next 10, 15 games. So no, they don't have a right to coast at all. At least
Right.
positionally, Denver is in the yesterday I was saying that their bigger issue is not the Western Conference. It's if they finish with less wins than Milwaukee or Philly or Boston, then they're going to have to win on the road in the finals in order to win the whole thing. So they don't want to have that problem because the whole entire Western Conference, with the exception of Sacramento, is either at or below 500 on the road, and that doesn't bode well for any of those teams in the playoffs.
That's fair enough, bro. That's fair enough. You got any parting words? I feel like we already answered the questions. It ain't. We can't say it's completely over, but we got some concerns about these Phoenix Suns. Any parting words, bro?
That's it. Like it's very those are valid concerns about the Phoenix Suns, and yet and still KD can come back and go all world and average 30 in the playoffs. Who knows?
Facts. You definitely could still come in, and both of these guys can have those LeBron, Kyrie games with both players just putting up 40 for no reason, bro. but
Bro.
uh, hey man, thank y'all for tuning in today. If you want more from Big Bro, the Big Kev, hit him up on Chopping It Up Chicago. My man had Oldham and all type of people on his show doing this thing. Y'all want more from me? Hit me up on Shy Bulls Podcast. If you're a Bulls fan or if you just want to talk basketball, because we talk basketball over there. If you want to follow us collectively, hit us up at NBA Central Show at gmail.com, on Twitter at NBA Central Pod. If you got a hot take, if you want to say, Bobby, you a damn goofy for saying what you said today, send it in through the voicemail, 773-270-2799. Let us know how y'all really feel. This is another episode of NBA Central. We out.
Thank you for tuning in to the #1 place for your basketball fix, NBA Central, hosted by the Cognac Boys.